population of human beings, not apart from human beings, every living creature on this earth, and the speed impact of pollution, anthropological interventions into the nature and its emissions, which is causing for the global heat, how it is every living creature on this becoming a hazardous thing, and how it is impacting the climate change, and that climate change is bringing so many adverse things into the human life, and by into the nature. In this context, media and its expansion and its proprietary and its sometimes it is controversial role and becoming a simply tool in the hands of corporate sometimes and into the hands of the government sometimes, and the other side by motivating the people and bringing a lot of information into the public and adverse impacts and making them to aware and fight against it and challenging facing certain issues like what is this mitigation of climate change challenge and adaptation of it and resilience, and in many aspects the information flooding into the public domain, making them alerted to fight against the policy makers and the policy agenda. In this context, I invited the people whose names I mentioned just in the beginning. I will explain about their contribution and their standing in the society. While they are speaking, I will introduce them separately, but now I inviting all of them. And initially, I would like to invite our chief guest of today. That is none other than Jayanta Ghoshal, who is a very senior and a veteran journalist. He is having almost 4 decades of journalism background, and presently he is a consulting editor for India Today Group. And the rich component and the rich quality of Jayanta Ghoshal today for connecting to this event is he is the person who physically there at Paris in 2015 when Paris Accord took place, and in the present Glasgow, he had a visit there and he reported from there, and 2 days back he landed here back in India. So that is his connection here, and with his vast experience of knowledge in environment reporting, political comment, with connection with many India TV, GTV, G News, and Anand Bazar Patrika, Anand Bazar TV, and NDTV, like this, with having vast experience and rich exposure to the environment and climatic conditions today, and specifically the role of media. I hope that is the he published many books also, and he made many like exclusive reporting, like breaking the news, like RBI Governor Raghurama Rajan's resignation he anticipated much earlier and reported. Similarly, Pokhran 2, when those tests are going happen, he reported in advance. With that senior experience in journalism, I and our team of Council for Green Revolution and Earth Center specifically thought that he will be the more relevant person. We invited him with his kind consent. He accepted to come and address this webinar today. Now I invite Jayanta Ghoshal ji for further proceedings.
He Please again went into the attendees thing. I think he has to come back to the panelists. He's there in attendees.
Why? Sai Bhaskar, can we?
Yeah, yes, come back.
Come back, please. Jayant ji.
Yeah.
Sir,
actually, line got disconnected for some net problem. I don't know. Anyway, so
please welcome, sir.
Now?
Please.
Please. Should I start now? Thank you.
Please,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Reddy, and everyone. And I'm very thankful to you that you have given me this opportunity, this platform to say something. And I think this subject is very relevant today. especially the role of media. At the outset, I should admit that I am not an expert on climate, or my subject is not environment. But this time also, when UK government invited us few people, that time also I was a very reluctant traveler. I was asking that why I can cover G20, I can cover United Nations GA, but this climate session, why you are inviting a political journalist? What is the purpose of this sort of invitation? So actually, they have done it. They are saying that now it is a time to reach out to the media people and not only the experts. So if the climate and the environment and these hazards, these are the issues related to people. And scientists can teach us, can guide us. But for the media, the science reporters are there. And technical know-how they have more than us. But what I found this time in Glasgow, that it is only, it's a politics of climate. And the climate of politics, that is also very important to, you have to move forward only if you can handle that politics of climate too. And this politics of climate, on the first day when I was there, that I found that major story is that China is boycotting. So the focus on the international media, it was not the climate. The focus was that why China is not coming. That was the first day, first story. What I was in the media center, and there are 3 zones. In the red zone, green zone, we are in the red zone, but the blue zone, it was for the head of the state. So we cannot go and we cannot ask any head of the state immediately that why China has not come. This is not the practice also. So we are waiting to know what is the fact. So there was a gossip that Chinese premier, he is not for the last 200 days, he didn't visit anywhere. That was the reason, health is the reason, not the politics. Then we have come to know that this not only China, Russia is also not joining. Then we have come to know that Brazil is not coming. Then we have come to know that Turkey not coming. So immediately this sort of politics started. But afterwards, now the technical session after the head of the states, what actually started after 2 days, that is more important operational. Because I found that China has not come, but the negotiators of China, the scientists of the members China, they have come. And they have started the dialogue. It is not for the public utterance, but they are also seriously discussing the issues. Even Pakistan, Mr. Imran Khan has not come, but the scientific advisor of Pakistan Prime Minister, he was there. And Britain, actually it was in Scotland, but the host is UK. So it's very interesting that UK High Commission at Islamabad, they had meetings with Pakistan scientists and they came together to the Glasgow conference, and they are holding press conference only for the technical issues and not even any single sentence or Pakistan politics, terror, this, that, nothing. So, but the interesting observation, I just want to share my observation. I think you people know more the technical things than me. Whether it is 1.5 or whether it is 2 or whether it is 1.3, this target, whether we will achieve or not, whether Prime Minister Modi, what he announced, that is utopia or reality, all these debates, I am not going into that details. I want to say what I have seen, and seeing is believing. Number one, I have seen that the channels in London for those days, BBC, Sky, all those channels, dedicated to the climate issue. Even when the head of the states reached that day, it was a budget day for London. But in television coverage, I found the top priority of this climate session. And there are live telecast of Boris, what he said. And it was interesting speech. He is giving example of James Bond's reference, and UK people are excited hearing the name of James Bond. But a lot of demagogy was there. But I found that they are more, giving more space, more time to the issue. In our channels, the Indian channels, I am a Bengali, I am from Bengal. So I follow the Bengali channels, the language channels also, like Andhra, Telangana, language channels. They have their own meta language, so-called national, because I am deliberately saying so-called because I think as a language journalist also we are not anti-national. Only the national channels are Delhi-based channels are national, and Hyderabad and Calcutta-based channels are anti-national. It is not like that. So I found in the Bengal channels, the result of the by-elections, Mamta won the seats. That is more important stories than climate. And in national channel, Narendra Modi's Ayodhya visit, and then by-election result, UP, these, that, are more important. So the first thing that media has to create a consciousness, or we have to fight actually to get the space, to give the space. And this TRP politics, whether climate story is, will not TRP friendly, and the other stories are more TRP friendly, so there should be a priority. This is a very important subject, because I found in UK and even in the France TV, Russia TV, very interesting, because that time I got the time to see the climate coverage in their channels, but here I don't see much the Russia TV or France TV. It's not, I got the time to see those channels also there. Russia channels, Putin didn't come, and Russia channels was focusing more on the strategic relationship of the countries, why Russia is more, consistent on climate, but the more anti-US campaign was there in the Russia channel, that why Trump boycotted the climate session. And it's not COVID, it's the role of US that delayed the process of, delayed the process of the climate target fulfilling, all those things. So now, second thing, what I want to mention, that the role of print, role of electronic, and role of digital also different. One senior digital editor of Delhi, he was telling me that when we nowadays, we have observed that any live telecast of any politician, if it is Prime Minister also, people switch over. They see their mobile and they go to the digital stories, because this patience to listen a prolonged speech of any politician is not, now it is not very, that patience of the audience is missing. So what digital is doing, digital is not going for the live coverage. Even in London, I found that what televisions are also doing, that one speech and immediately they are switching over to the media center and they're trying to catch one politician, head of the state, even from the Caspian border states, very aggressive, like the Maldives, very aggressive, because for them, for Maldives, for Bangladesh, for Pakistan, it's a do or die situation. So now we are in a very catch-22 situation, because one argument is that for the industrialization, British started the industrialization in 18th, and they started the railway service for their own interest. But that time, at this time, we are not that industrialized what they are. So what carbon emission they can cap, we can't. So that was the argument for the first day. But immediately, very interesting, a lot of, I think, India media, they have not covered, that in UK, Still, there is a new coal project UK government has started. And there was an uproar in Parliament when the climate session was on. And inside the climate session also, there is a lot of pressure from media. And they asked bodies that why you are trying to stop the coal projects of this South Asia and why you are starting a new coal project in your own country. So this double standard should be stopped. Immediately, Prime Minister was defensive and he said, I am not very keen to do these coal projects. But then who is interested? Your party, your government is doing it. They said two reasons. We want this project because we want to stop coal import. Still, London is dependent on coal import. And number two, there is a problem of joblessness. So this coal project will give employment in UK, and we badly needs this sort of employment. So now India argued that if you need coal project today for job and coal import, and why you are, pressurizing us to go for the zero tolerance for carbon emission today. So I think among the SAARC countries, Maldives said that it's the issue of immigration now. Because we have lost some islands. We have lost our population. And they are now shifting one island to another island. So actually it's another social problem of immigration. And you are saying that you have to do more industrialization. So among the SAARC countries also, even Bangladesh, because the water level of the sea is now in an alarming situation. And I am from West Bengal. Sundarban is there in Bangladesh and in Bengal. And their scientists, they are saying that after 20 years, we don't know whether it will be underwater or not. And not only Sundarban, not only the Royal Bengal tiger, there is a huge population, South 24 Garganas district, and they are ready to give the money. And in West Bengal, another problem is there, what Gujarat and Rajasthan, they don't have, that the population and the land ratio is a thick population. So in that area, if there is a crisis of the climate and if there is a major flood, water, so that population, how you will protect them? Another issue I observed that there is a confusion that what will be the priorities on the climate issue, because climate is a very generic term, but there is a problem of water. There is even on the security issue, that why China is interested to fight in the Himalaya. There is an interpretation of lot of diplomats there. In fact, one Indian diplomat was telling me that there is a scarcity in future. There will be a scarcity of water, and now Himalayan has become maybe a major flashpoint in future for the warmongers, and it will be a fight of the countries on water. So this water, not only Indo-Pakistan, Indus Valley, not with the Bangladesh and India. Inside our country, there is a lot of debate, especially in south of our country and the Punjab also. There is a lot of controversies and debate among the states also. So I think it's a very complicated, huge things. But in our country, the media's role, what we are discussing today, that's why we have to give more priority. Because now we are not giving, it's a state where every month there is an election. And we are more interested on this Ram Rahim business. We are more interested on this sort of political jingoism and everything. But our priority, irrespective of party line, it's not BJP's climate, it's not Congress climate, it's not Narendra Modi's climate or Rahul Gandhi's climate, or it's not so irrespective of party line on these issues, how we can move forward, there's only dialogue can be the solution. Now, what we are doing actually. So I think I have said, Lord, if you have anything to know or I should tell I have missed, you can mention. But I think I have said enough and our friends are waiting. I want to listen others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We are very fortunate that, as you said, I'm not a climate expert or environmental expert. I'm a political commentator. Why I have been invited for this? But after your 25 minutes of speech, we came to know that our option and our selection was appropriate as you interpreted that. Politics of climate and climate of politics, how it is emerging as an core issue for the decision-making bodies of the politics. And rightly you mentioned that countries like India, what we are noticed in the last 7-8 days of proceedings, our representation for negotiations is not adequate as the political heads are absent from certain countries to the Glasgow. Really superb. And in addition to that, you said that environment is such a subject which is not a TRP friendly subject. And also you said that some of the nations, there are different approach and different pathetic situation of countries like do or die situation, countries like Maldives, and countries with issue of catch-22 situation, and safer countries who are playing the dual talk and dual role, saying something and doing something. That's also been exposed. So media, as you said, even in Indian condition, has to get a different approach basing on the local needs and situations. One coastal state may have different strategies when compared with where the desertification is taking speedily. This sort of approach, even for the media coverage and priorities, as you said, priorities among the climate issues, which has to be taken basing on the local situation. Very thank you for your beautiful insights of the issue and the core part of the issue, sir. Now I request Sai Bhaskar, if there are any specific questions from our audience, please, 1 or 2 questions, Sai Bhaskar. Are there any such questions in our inbox?
No questions yet, sir.
Meanwhile, anyhow, sir wants to listen the other speakers also. If we get any questions subsequently, now I'm requesting all the audience, if they have any specific question which can bring a beautiful information that will cater the many brains outside. The question may be from your brain, but answer may cater many brain. Please write down in that message box. We will get answers with request from the expert. Now I'm requesting to extend thanks to our chief guest. By the by, as the guest of honor, I am inviting Professor Purushottam Reddy Garu, whose name is a synonym for environment for last 4 decades in Telugu space, not only Telugu space, even for that matter in entire India. And sometimes when we used to sit with him for our CGR activity or Earth Center activity, we used to see that he used to get calls from CNN and BBC, like international media channels. That is the significance of Professor Purushottam Reddy Garu, and who is influencing the minds of many activists in environment area, many advocates who are filing PILs in the court of law, and many journalists who are crusading for the protection of environment. He is the guiding and inspiring source. Now I request Professor Purushottam Reddy Garu to make as per our request. Thank you. Please come, sir.
Thank you so much, Dilip Reddy Garu. At the outset, I wish to thank the chief guest for his valuable time, because not only he had attended the Paris conference, and recently he was there in Glasgow, and being an eyewitness, he has wonderfully narrated the reality, the situation there right now that is existing. It is true that initially China's absence was a big news, just as he pointed out in Bengal and even in Hyderabad for that matter. Huzurabad election, it sidelined COP26 deliberations. Well, this is India, and though there has been a lot of progress, but I think in